Hey everybody, welcome back to another Jackson Jet Setting Cruise video. Today we're checking out the Oasis of the Seas, a full review of the 4-night voyage down from Miami to Labadee, Haiti, and back with 2 sea days in the middle. It's my first time on board an Oasis class vessel, so this was going to be an interesting trip for me. I was traveling with my wife, so we were excited to see, exactly what this felt like. This is my second time in the custom-built Royal Caribbean terminal at Miami, which I think is absolutely gorgeous and makes things super organized. There was no issue getting on board the vessel that was quite sold out for this holiday journey. There were over 6,500 guests on this voyage, over 1,800 children, which unfortunately did affect my opinion, I think, of the cruise itself. But let's get going here. We're boarding now. Always my favorite point of the embarkation day was getting on board and getting started with the cruise vacation. So once you get on board the Oasis of the Seas, you're right in the middle of the action. We were kind of rushing around right when we got on board because the World Cup final was going on and they were in penalty kicks. So we sprinted straight over to Playmakers, the sports bar, which is great because they had the game on for us. But we did get a quick glimpse of the Royal Promenade on board, and it is massive compared to the Freedom and the Voyager class ships that I had been on in the past. By about 2 p.m., our room was ready. So that was super cool. We had a balcony cabin on this voyage, so we were excited to check that out. Definitely liked the look of the room, and it had like a better art, I think, than some of the other ships I've been on. So definitely felt fresh and new there. It was just us two in the cabin, so no real issues with space. I feel like the cruise cabins, I can always find a way to fit all my stuff in. Had a nice mini fridge there, all of the documents that they welcome you with on board, like your platinum benefits, that sort of thing. I was platinum on this voyage, which I was excited to see. Not a ton of benefits for being platinum. You get a few more bucks in free play in the casino. You get a discount on your internet package, among other things. But here is the beautiful bathroom. Nice real door there for the shower. So yeah, pretty basic, Royal Caribbean sailing cabin there, but really happy with the size overall. Decided to grab lunch at the Park Cafe, which is on the Central Park. That was pretty cool. Made our own salad there, trying to stay healthy on board. We walked up to start exploring the ship because the ship is absolutely massive. Just seeing all the specialty venues and whatnot on embarkation day. They had the Portside Barbecue restaurant. Didn't get a chance to try it, but looked decent. I am Texan, so I am a little picky with my barbecue, but I'm sure it's perfectly edible. Love a good sail away from Miami. It's one of my favorite ports to sail from. We snuck into the Coastal Kitchen just to take a look at it too. This is only for suites guests, but we were able to at least take a peek inside just for maybe a future cruise. If you're into cruise videos or resort videos, I have tons of this content on my channel, so hit subscribe or like the video. Really appreciate it, and we're gonna keep generating tons of content here into 2023. So obviously not the most beautiful of ports right now. Some terminal construction is underway for the MSC terminal right next to the Royal Caribbean terminal. But soon around 4 p.m. it was time to launch. We were on our way to Labadee. Love the sail away from Miami. You have Fisher Island, beautiful apartments and golf courses there, sunsetting behind the skyline of Miami. Just really beautiful, and all of a sudden you're away and you're just at sea, and it's time to get the fun going. So since my wife was traveling with me on this trip, I did want to upscale the restaurants a little bit, so we did do the 3-night dining package. So we have 3 specialty restaurants to choose from on board. The first night we chose 150 Central Park. So Central Park definitely became probably our favorite aspect of the Oasis class ships. We liked the real plants. We liked kind of the tranquil nature of it. The rest of the ship really felt super chaotic to us, but we were excited to try this just for the seafood and the steak. Lots of different options here, and it's a little bit different, I think, than the Chops Grill. And this is only available on ships that actually have a Central Park, so only the Oasis class ships so far. We'll have to see if it's on board at the new Icon of the Seas. Started out with some delicious bread. Bread never goes wrong on a cruise. I ordered one of the fancy cocktails that they make tableside. It's got some fresh herbs from the garden outside. That was pretty cool. So that was really delicious. Then we started out with some of their soup. Really, really, really good. And then I opted for the surf and turf. You can see that there. And then the fish for my wife. And for dessert, I went with the cheese. And then the delicious fried cheesecake, which is a major hit. Then we decided to take in a show. Which were 2 comedians the first night. The Broadway musical Cats is in the theater, but you do have to make reservations beforehand. The Studio B was turned into a laser tag arena, which you do have to make reservations too. That's pretty fun. And then they had a late night game show in the music room, which was one of my favorite venues on the ship. Next morning, I went and grabbed breakfast at the Windjammer. Overall, did not enjoy the Windjammer food on Oasis of the Seas. I felt like it was very bland, pretty uninspired, and repetitive. Other Royal Caribbean ships, I've had much better food in the Windjammer. I just think there's just too many people on board this ship to really strive for anything really all that amazing. Did have a decent lunch there though. Then went over and tried out the zip line. So the zip line is a free activity. Sometimes has a little bit of a line. It's pretty short, but it is free, and it is pretty fun. You go right over the boardwalk area of the ship. There is the Bionic Bar, which is cool. Kuka robot bartenders. If you've been on the Harry Potter ride at Universal Studios, you've actually ridden one of these. So pretty cool. You can just order straight from your SeaPass card, and they will deliver the drink to you on those handy little chutes right there. So pretty cool stuff. We were still making our way towards Labadee on this sea day. It being a sea day, the pools were quite busy. There are 4 pools, main pools at least. This is during one of the poolside game shows, but pool deck very, very packed. Always a long line for the water slides. 3 of those there, 2 kind of racing slides, and then 1 that is dubbed the toilet bowl by many people on board. There's 2 flow riders as well. So one side for boogie boarding, the other side for stand-up. They have candy shop down at the boardwalk. This is all an extra charge. This also has the kind of fancy gelato on board. We were a little hungry before dinner, so we decided to check out Vintages, which has a small little tapas menu. One of the best bites of food on board, the crab croquetas, so really did enjoy those. So don't miss out on this. I think that a lot of people don't really understand that there's actually food in there. Pretty big wine list as well, and a great vibe. Dinner for tonight was at Giovanni's, another specialty restaurant. So you get a ton of food here. Most of the Italian places on pretty much any cruise ship are gonna really just load you up with some delicious food. So we were excited to try this out. It's one of my favorite spots on other Royal Caribbean ships. So definitely tried the meat platter first with tons of great cheeses there. Got the tuna carpaccio. Risotto looked really good. Nice salad too. And then the shrimp. And then I got the ossobuco, which was really good. Fortunately, the food took forever. It was a very, very long meal. The ship was just way too busy on this cruise, unfortunately. Did have a nice little towel animal, though, once we got back home. The next morning, the water slides were going on, which was cool. But it was time to go check out Labadee, which is Royal Caribbean's private little peninsula on the in the country of Haiti. So it's a pretty incredible sight to see an escalator going down on a cruise ship. First time I've seen that, but we were at Royal Caribbean's private destination. We had a lot of things planned for the day. We wanted to check out the beach first, just check out the overall lay of the land. I haven't been here in about 15 years. We went here on the Mariner of the Seas with my folks way back when. And then we also booked a little local boat excursion just to see some of the sights off the private island here. So Labadee does have a lot of natural beauty. There's a lot of things to do. It's a pretty large destination, I think. It's nice that there's only one ship in at a time. So even though we had over 6,000 people on our voyage, it didn't feel too crowded on the beaches. Everyone kind of spreads out. So we're going to take you through. This is kind of the adventure village. This is where you'll board most of your excursions off Labadee. There's also a bar, shops, and then you can walk forward and you'll hit most of the beaches. There's about 4 beaches here. The Suites and Pinnacle actually have their own beach, which is really cool. So this is Dragon's Plaza here. We were heading all the way over to Dragon's Breath roller coaster. So that's the mountain coaster that they have here on the island. Gives you great views of the ship, and it's a fun little ride. Fun fact, I bought us 2 tickets thinking that we would both want to drive, but my wife and I shared a roller coaster car, so just one driver. So the riders actually fly for free. So we got 2 rides for that, which was great. Of course, they have the Dragon's Breath zip line, which is the longest zip line over water. It's about $100, maybe a little bit more, depending on the cruise that you're on. You can get that on a discount on the Royal Caribbean app or on the website before you sail. So I definitely recommend looking at your sailing and seeing if you can get a little bit of a discount on it before if you're interested. Gotta say, it didn't seem like it was really all that worth it because you had one small zip line over here near the main plaza just to test out the equipment and that sort of thing, and then you're bussed up and you have the really long zip line, which obviously looks really fun, but that is it for the excursion. So not really a ton going on there for what you're paying for, in my opinion. So the north side of the peninsula is dedicated to that and Adrenaline Beach. So that's always having your zip liners fly over. They have the floating bar there as well. And then on the south side, there's a number of different beaches. The Sweets Beach that I mentioned. You also have Columbus Cove, which is where we hung out. And then Nellie's Beach. So unless you have access to that Barefoot Beach Club, you're going to be on one of those 3 public beaches. And there's plenty of space to spread around. And the free lunch on the island is served at a number of different locations. If you have the beverage package on board, it does work on the island too. So that might be one benefit for you if you're getting on board for a shorter trip down to Labadee. May make the calculus for whether the drink package is going to be worth it or not just a little bit easier. So they have these trams that'll take you around the island, or you can walk like we did. And so finally we've made it to basically the end of the public path and to the Dragon's Breath roller coaster. So we'll show you the load station for that. We have a brief safety video. We paid about $10 a rider, I think, on the Black Friday sale. So not really an expensive activity by any means. Doesn't really take that long either, so you can add it as on top of your other activities that you have on the shore for the day, but super fun. I got off the ship early enough too that we were able to find a really great spot right on the beach. Great view of the ship as well. One thing I was surprised to see was a Haitian beer for sale, so I had to try that. Good little lager, really loved the label too. Drinks were pretty expensive, honestly, at Labadee. My bill for like a cocktail and a beer was like $25 after tip, which I felt like was a little expensive, even more so than like Coco K that I've been to a number of different times. But lunch was free, pretty high quality, and then it was time for our excursion later in the afternoon. We had a two-story little catamaran that took us around, showed us some of the sites nearby, got to see some of the other excursion spots. So really, I highly recommend this. It's about $50 or $60 a person. It's not really all that expensive, and a good way to kill 2 hours during the hot part of the day. This private island is accessible on a tour. It is open to locals too, but really a cool spot. I think if you've already been to Labadee, it might be a cool excursion to take advantage of. But we were done with that in about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and so we head back to the ship. We wanted to check out more of the Oasis of the Seas. Like the Star Wars trivia, almost won that one. But we had a little bit more in the evening to do, plus the whole sea day before we got back to Miami, so plenty more time to explore the ship. So overall, I think Oasis class ships, they have a few more things to do, more restaurants, that sort of thing, but I do feel like I like the size of the Freedom class vessels or the Voyager class vessels a little bit more. It just seems like they have almost as many things to do with way less people on board, and they just feel better designed, in my opinion. While the Oasis class ships seem much wider and they obviously have way more bells and whistles, I don't think there's really enough capacity to kind of match how many more people they put on board to kind of make a profit on such a big ship like this. So that's my opinion. I know people kind of have always loved the Oasis class ships, but that's just my opinion there. I think I will be sticking to others, but willing to try them one more time. Maybe a different ship or a different time of year might swing my opinion. For dinner, we went back to Central Park, which I do love how all the specialty restaurants, a lot of them are going to be in the Central Park. Just really is a nice relaxing little destination there. But it was Chops Grill, which I've dined at many times. All the same menus across the ships. I do wish, if you were kind of a loyal royal cruiser, that some of the menus would switch up ship to ship, just to make things a little bit more interesting, or maybe have a special of the day, that sort of thing. But overall, food quality very good. Trying the bacon, crab cake, of course. And you have the mushroom soup. Had the steak, of course, being at the Chops. Really good steak. Fish was also delicious, according to my wife. I do think that the Aqua Show on Oasis of the Seas was one of the coolest things we've done on a cruise ship. Definitely one of the coolest things that they offer, and definitely worth seeing, so do not miss this. They had to cancel some parts of it because of how rocky the ship was, but we still got to see like all the high divers, and it's got a great 80s soundtrack, so it's a big highlight for me. After that, they had the Love and Marriage game show, which is always a highlight. Really, really funny. And this is the next day, so they had a cool, fun parade down the Royal Promenade. Kind of chaotic. They had different pirates and Vikings and other people from across time that are battling it out. Pretty fun little story. Wanted to try some rock climbing as well. Didn't get a chance to, unfortunately. Just the times didn't really line up, and I don't think that things were really all that timed out well for some of the kind of free activities on board, unfortunately. They also have an escape room on board. They have hibachi, which we didn't get to try, over at Izumi, which is on board other vessels, always a favorite of mine. We were pretty tired, so we just decided to try Playmakers for our dinner. We weren't really like all that starving, so just grabbed a couple little bites to eat, watched some more sports, and retired for the evening. So we had an early morning and a long travel day up ahead. But first, we did end up checking out the Party Band and the Ice Show. Ice Show is one of the cooler things on Royal Caribbean. I think it's really high quality. So we had a really late flight out of Fort Lauderdale, just due to the points. So we decided to book a Royal Caribbean excursion on an airboat. Never done an airboat before. Got to see an alligator, which was pretty cool. Dropped us off at the airport, and we walked around Hollywood Beach for a few hours, grabbed some lunch. That was really a nice part of the vacation. But yeah, highly recommend doing an airboat ride while in Florida if you've never done it. Do think that this was a little bit shorter than what was advertised, though. A lot of sitting around. There's a little shot of the alligator there. Hollywood Beach does have a nice little boardwalk to walk down. We found the Marriott with some really great tacos. Before we headed back to the airport, checked out the newer Escape Lounge, which I get into with my Amex Platinum card. Pretty decent food, though it kind of ran out at times, and it was a pretty busy lounge, but we hung out for a couple hours here before our flight back to Phoenix. And so that was our trip on the Oasis of the Seas. Thanks a lot for watching, and please subscribe to the channel if you like these types of videos.